Hey guys, welcome back to part 4 of our home buying series. Now that you've got your hot list of homes that you're keen to check out, it's time to take a deeper dive and a closer look at what you're buying. So the best way to do this is to get a strata report, a building pest report, or a defects report. So we're gonna go meet with Ryan today from Homesafe and have a chat with him. So today we're here with Ryan from Homesafe Inspections, and he's gonna tell us a bit about building and pest as well as strata reports. So Ryan, before we do that, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and your business?
Sure, so my name's Ryan Lehmann. I'm the owner of Homesafe Inspections. What we do is we do building and pest and strata reports, and we do these reports for both vendors and buyers. Initially got into doing this due to there being a bit of a gap in the market. We saw when we were buying a house personally that there was the reports we were looking at, they just didn't seem to have the quality that we thought they should have in them. And having a building background, it was something I decided, well, I should just jump into this. Why not? It's something that needs to be done. People need a better service.
So Ryan, when buying a property, why is it important to get a building and pest inspection done?
There's a few reasons why it's incredibly important. Mainly the first one is we want to identify if there's going to be any major issues with the property that are going to cost the buyer huge amounts of money after they've purchased the property, which they've not accounted for essentially. Some of the main things we'd be looking for in that area would be termites, damp issues, structural problems with, related to some of the external, internal walls. And some of these items can end up being extremely costly down the line if they're not identified prior to purchasing the property.
So a lot of our clients obviously want to know what you're looking for when you conduct an inspection. Can you talk to us a bit about when you go into the property, what you go and look for?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we do, that most inspectors should do as well, is jump up into the roof space. So we will get up into the roof, we'll crawl all the way around the roof area, try and identify any structural issues. Sometimes there's termite issues up there, sometimes there's roof leaks that can't be seen from not being in the roof area. We'll also get underneath the house as well into the subfloor space. Sometimes these spaces are incredibly tight, which is not fun, but it's part of the job. And we'll crawl through these areas and they will help identify, any major structural movement to the building that you can't see from outside, waterproofing issues under bathrooms, termite problems, damp problems. These are the two main areas that you're gonna find problems that won't be found for a number of months after you've moved in, essentially. But we also walk around all the outside, we do all the inside, and our company, a part of our company policy is to thermal image the entire property as well.
Wow.
So we'll thermal image every aspect of the property, and while that isn't the be all and end all of technology, it helps us identify certain areas that might be high risk for moisture or a roof leak that you can't actually see that hasn't shown up yet. So picks up some areas that we can, highlight and then further investigate.
Yeah, definitely. So they sound pretty detailed then.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, they have to be.
So after crawling around in the roof and then under the house, which sounds like a lot of fun, how do you translate into a report?
So our reports are set up in sections. So it will go from the roof basically to then the roof structure and the subfloor, and then it'll be a room by room assessment essentially. And that's how the report is itemized. After we've itemized all those rooms internally, we'll also talk about the site around the property, which will include the termite part of the report, which will be right at the bottom. And that termite part of the report, we report on all areas within 50-meter radius of the actual property itself regarding termites. And that's part of the Australian standard. That's what we're required to do also.
So now a lot of clients ask me, what's the main difference between a building and pest and a strata report? Are you able to clarify that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main difference between the building and pest and the strata report is the building and pest is based off the condition of the property that day of the inspection. So we're looking at that property and identifying issues at that day. Where the strata report is, we're looking at the strata documents and the financial documents provided to us by the strata management company at the time. So they're the two main differences.
So mainly structural and the other's financial?
One's mainly structural of the day of the inspection and the financial documents of the lot of that property that were available to us when we're doing the inspection.
Yeah, perfect. So Ryan, obviously the clients want to know, when you're doing a strata report, what are you looking for and why is it important to get one, and what do they look for when they read through it?
Yeah, sure. So it's super important to get a strata report due to the fact that if you buy a strata title complex, you move in and all of a sudden your rates go up, or you get an additional special levy that you hadn't financially accounted for, you can,
Be quite out of pocket.
Yeah, definitely. They can be extremely expensive. So the purpose of the strata report is to help identify any additional special levies coming up, whether the sinking and admin fund is in the positive or the negative, highlighting any additional works that are coming up that you might have to, which might then raise the special levy for. So it's extremely important to get that done, basically to avoid any of these additional costs and just to lower your risk essentially moving forward with the property.
So what should a buyer look for when they're going through these reports?
So main thing they should be looking for is making sure that the admin and sinking fund is healthy, that there's a lot of money in there, that it's not in the red, and that there's no additional special levies coming up that are going to impact them in the future. So having those two main issues looked at, they're the things that are going to really help you make a healthy decision moving forward with the property.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so additional things that should be found in the strata report will be the annual minutes. And by law, we're meant to have 5 years worth of annual minutes thrown in the report. It's all dependent on the strata company. Sometimes the strata company can mismanage some documents and things like that, but having 5 years allows us to look back to see how things have been managed, defects and all types of issues that have arisen, how they've been fixed and handled. It allows us to get a better idea on the management of the actual plan itself and complex.
So Ryan, recently a client of mine asked, is it important to get a building pest or strata report when buying off the plan?
So it's not so much a strata report when you're buying off the plan, because it's not going to show any previous issues, because we're not even at that stage yet. So the main thing is to get a what we would call a defect inspection done basically when the property is ready to be handed over. So a defect inspection, it's a much more in-depth inspection than a general building and pest. Everything's basically, we take everything off the Australian standard, we reference the Australian standard, the national construction codes, and we make sure that basically the building has been built to code, and at absolute minimum, the minimum Australian standard, which is required by every builder in Australia to adhere to these certain rules. So that's an important step to do. There are other reports as well you can get further down the line, like 3-month defect inspections as well. These reports can be used to then be presented to the builder to say, hey, these are items that aren't up to scratch or aren't to code, and we can have these rectified.
Yeah, perfect. So Ryan, we've had the strata report, building and pest, or the defect report done on the property. Can our buyers or sellers contact you about what's involved in these reports and where they should focus their energies?
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout our report, in all our reports, it will say if you don't understand something, please contact our inspector. We do encourage that, and for most buyers that book us directly, we will contact them prior to sending out the report to give them a rundown of some of the items. Some of the items in the report can be hard to understand, and it's much easier to explain that over a phone call than read what's in the report. And some of the terminology in the report that we're required to have due to our insurance, it can be a little scary at some point as well. So we definitely advise talking to the inspector for every and all reports that you purchase.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously for these services, how much do these reports cost and how long does it take before we get them received to the buyer or seller?
Sure, so there's a varying cost throughout the report system. Strata reports are generally about $410, and these all include GST. A building and pests is anywhere between $500 and $600. And a defect inspection, which we talked about, the off-the-plan stuff, can be anywhere between $900 to $1,100. So there's a varying cost there on the different scale. And most, for the building and pest and the defect reports, you can expect the report generally the same day that we do the inspection.
Yeah, wow.
So we utilize the most up-to-date software and systems to be able to get these reports out extremely efficiently. And at most cases, it's usually within 2 hours after our inspection has been completed. The strata reports are a little bit different. We have to rely on the strata company to then give us access to these documents. Sometimes documents are missing and it delays how long we can get the report out. But on average, it's usually about 2 to 3 days to get the report.
Awesome, and that speed's so crucial when you're at the decision-making process to be able to make sure you're buying the right property.
Absolutely. If you're wanting to put an offer in and you're waiting on this report, and someone else has a more efficient building and pest company or a strata company providing their report and they get the offer in before you, I mean, yeah, it can make a huge difference at the end of the day.
So Ryan, thank you for coming in today and talking to us about the reports. If our clients wanted to reach out, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so the best way to contact us is via our website, where our phone number and our contact details will be. And we generally get back to people very quickly within, half hour to an hour.
Awesome, good stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming in.
No problem.
I'll see you later.
Thanks.